Hello everybody, welcome back for some more OS World Cup 2019 round of 16 weekend. And we are live now with the next two matches of this weekend, starting off with Finland versus New Zealand. I am joined on the commentary booth by everyone's favorite water floating device, kayak. I mean Kano. How's it going?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well, man. It's very early in the morning. Well, very early. It's 9 a.m. here in the UK, so I've woken up specifically for this because we got some really good matches. As I mentioned, two in a row, starting with Finland, New Zealand, followed by Australia versus South Korea, which is a really exciting winners bracket match. So definitely looking forward to that one. But first of all, we have your oceanic partner, New Zealand, going up against the EU team of Finland.
Yeah, I was going to say we've got basically both of our neighbours facing off against each other at this point. You know, Finland's not that far from you either.
It's not that far. I guess in terms of geography, it's not too bad, but they are the other side of Europe.
Yeah.
Have a good influence from the Finnish community through Doomsday stream, actually. There's quite a lot of Finns that hang around in there, so... Not a lot of these guys, though. It's like a whole new breed of Finnish players who've been coming out. Dragon Mob and his team have been around for a fair while. Let's have a quick look over these two teams then before we get into this match. Starting off, let's start off with Finland, who are on the red side of our screen. They actually have 4 new players this year: Freeze, Ken Raleigh, Hades and Samoyed coming in. They've actually had the second most unique roster with 48 players, which is a huge number of rotations. So not a lot of long-term standing members. Unfortunately, we did see them get beaten in the round of 32 to Australia, 5-0, so quite a heavy performance, but actually that was just credit to how well the Australians played. I don't think there's too much to say in terms of... I think Finland put on a pretty good effort.
Yeah, and then on the other side you've got New Zealand, which have a lot of old faces and some new faces coming in, and obviously they haven't been in the World Cups that frequently. I think they've missed the past few, but it's good to see them back here again. I'm familiar with a lot of these players as well. I've seen a few of them. Obviously Short Potato is one of the older ones that's been sticking around, and there's been quite a few others who have shown up in community tournaments. So yeah, I think these two teams are definitely going to be very close in terms of what they both have to offer. So looking forward to seeing how close this match is going to be, honestly.
Yeah, I think actually in terms of Halo Watchers pick'ems, it's quite close. It's sort of, I think it's 35% New Zealand, 65% to Finland. So actually on paper, quite a close matchup. In terms of the qualifying seeding, New Zealand were actually 24th, which considering they haven't been in the World Cup since 2016 is a pretty good going from them. While on the other side, Finland were 25th. So actually in terms of qualifying seeding, this is a very close match. These teams are exactly equal in terms of where the skill sets. Both of them performed pretty well in double time, but New Zealand had a really good hidden performance, so I would expect to see them want to favor the hidden maps where they can. I believe as well that Finland have opted to skip their warm-up, so we will only be seeing a warm-up from New Zealand for this match.
Damn, looking to get straight into it. They are ready, they've warmed up.
Yeah, it can be that, I suppose. It could be either that they are already ready and wanting to get into the match, or they may have some time constraints which they just need to shorten the match length. You never know. Maybe they feel that actually sometimes warm-ups are detrimental, in that if you pick a very memey warm-up that actually isn't a particularly intensive map, you can sometimes relax focus, lose concentration, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, time might not be on their side, that's for sure. But, I mean, it really depends. We'll see what happens. I think they're definitely ready to get into it, and regardless of whether or not it's a time constraint or they're just prepared. I mean, they're just saying right now that they don't need a warm-up.
Right, I believe this is then the New Zealand warm-up. Wasn't this... Why do I recognise this map? Wasn't this last week's free mod map?
This was indeed last week's free mod, yep.
What is happening? Why are they playing this again? Maybe they loved it so much.
I guess maybe they want to see how Finland does on free mod, maybe? Seeing as we do see a couple of them taking mods. Obviously, it could just be a case of actually, you know, using the warm-up as planned or as intended.
Yeah, that's true. There is actually quite a large strategy you can play in warm-ups where you pick a map that you're thinking of playing and see how the other team does on it. It is worth noting that, yeah, this is a different difficulty of the warm-up of the map from last week, so not the exact same map. This one being the collab extra difficulty.
I mean, close enough, guys. Come on. It may be 7 stars, but like it's basically what we've been playing this whole time, right?
Yeah, it's basically the same map. The fact that the New Zealand team have a player called Zuma is just brilliant. And I'm going to assume that that's not a recent name change, and that he's actually just ahead of his time.
I mean, that's how the Zoomers are these days. I mean, we're seeing a lot of familiar faces from community tournaments such as Freezed and Faye. They're both two who have been participating in a lot of community tournaments lately, making their mark pretty much very well known.
Yeah, I mean, the skill for the New Zealand roster is there. They definitely have the potential to do quite well. They are maybe showing signs of nerves, as it is pretty much the first World Cup they played for the last 3 years. Well, Finland does have at least that bit more consistency. Dragon Mob has been on that Finnish roster for a very long time. Again, as you mentioned, Freeze playing a lot of community tournaments. They also have Senteri, Waki, and Jup, all returning players. So there's a lot of tournament experience.
Yeah, it's really nice to see a lot of like older players playing alongside the newer players who have stepped up to the board. Because I mean, at the end of the day, when you look at like the older players who have been around for a while, you just assume that the amount of playtime that they've accumulated would result in them always getting on the roster. And obviously, you know, here they are, but some of the players who have caught up to this level in such a short time is also just insane.
It will be interesting though, because neither of these teams, Finland hasn't made it out of the group stage since 2016. They've played every World Cup, but they haven't made it out since 2016. New Zealand, kind of the same story, not really made it out of groups. I think the best performance they ever had was actually the first ever OSU World Cup back in, what was it, must be like 2011, 2012 time? Long time ago now. So actually the victor of this match, as it is a loser's bracket match, will actually get further in OWC since 2016 at a minimum. So quite a lot on the line. Obviously the losing team unfortunately does actually drop out for this year. The OSU World Cup run will end. But there we go, we're into the rolls. Warm-ups are concluded. And it looks like New Zealand will be winning this one. 47-39.
Now we're going to get into the choices. Who's going to be banning first and who's going to be picking first. What are your thoughts on the bans for this one?
I expect Finland might ban Hidden. I think Hidden... I can't recall if... I feel like Finland has a better AR8 team than it has just standard Hidden roster. So they might opt to ban out Shinsekai. Just from a glance value, just based on qualifying results, Finnish team finished 30th in terms of Hidden scores, while the New Zealand team were 15th. Which is quite a big difference in terms of overall Hidden performance. For maybe double time from New Zealand? Both teams did quite well in double time though. I'm not sure. Maybe just opt for a no mod ban. And we're going to see it. New Zealand will be banning first. And it will be double time. Double time 3. Tsuneno Nomieri, sorry. The high BPM, low AR double time banned out from the New Zealand squad.
Yeah, you gotta wonder sometimes when it comes to these double time bans, because I know a lot of teams definitely take a lot longer to warm up for speed, and sometimes no matter how much warm up you get, you just might not feel it on the day. So it's hard to say whether or not they just don't want to play double time or if they just weren't warmed up enough for it. But at the end of the day, I think that's a pretty solid ban from them. It's always a safe choice to ban out one of the harder maps, especially if your team is struggling to play it.
Yeah, I feel like this was a map that potentially on paper could be quite close, but as you mentioned, they might have been practicing it and thought, actually, you know what, we're not doing too hot on this. And it will be Shinsekai banned. You know, it's moments like this, Kano, where you just like, actually, I'm a god. I know what I'm talking about. You feel reassured that you're in the right place.
Your brain just expanded to the point where it almost exploded, but you still kept it inside.
It's because my skull is so insanely strong. Keeps it all contained.
The sheer power.
Alright then, yeah. Shinsekai from Finland. Double time 3. I'm not going to try and say that again from New Zealand. Removed from the pool. I expect to see definitely at least Halloween of the Dead play this match. And definitely Quinine as well. New Zealand first pick, and they're going to start us off with free mod 1. A bunch of samples played consecutively. So maybe that free mod.
They are diving. They're diving into the free mod. As we saw from the warm-up, they were obviously like opting for mods and testing themselves. So they're looking to get straight into it.
I wonder as well if we'll see the exact same mods that we saw during the warm-up. I think we saw 2 Hiddens, 1 Hard Rock on the side of New Zealand.
Yeah, it's definitely possible for them to select a couple of extra mods, especially if they have players who are comfortable in Hidden. I doubt we will see an overmod in terms of Hard Rock on a map like this, but it really depends on whether or not the teams have players capable of doing so. Because I think for sure that this map is definitely one where lower seeded teams will most likely want to just go with the safe option of running no mod and then doing the required mods where possible.
Yeah, I think given the free mod rolling, we'll see 1 Hidden, 1 Hard Rock, as you said, 2 no mod from both sides. I don't actually see either side to over modding this. Are there any Hidden Hard Rock players on the field?
I'm honestly not too familiar. I mean, Faye is capable of playing Hidden Hard Rock for sure, especially on something like this, but I think he is more likely to be playing Hidden. As for Finland's side, I'm not too familiar with their players. Obviously, we did see Freeze go Hard Rock on that last map, but I think he'll probably just be sticking with Hard Rock's solo.
Alright, so we're going to get into it then. Find out who's picked what. For those of you who didn't manage to catch any of the games yesterday, you'll notice a slight change to the skin, which is new for this round. Luckily, we've reverted the mods back, so it's a lot easier to see who's picked what. And it looks like hopefully we can get Faye connected. There we go.
And yeah, as I did mention, Faye is actually going to be going for the Hidden Hard Rock on this one. Zuma opting for Hidden. We've got Jup going for Hidden Hard Rock. And we also see Wookie going for Hard Rock and Freeze with Hidden. So there is a tiny bit of an overmod, but nothing too substantial. Freeze and Yellowy both finding misses in the early section, but it's early days, so there's plenty of opportunity.
Yeah, an average length map. Early misses shouldn't matter too much. We are seeing a bit of inconsistency from Zuma. Hopefully he can regain that composure. First map nerves are always a thing. So we will see Chuck break as well on that Hidden Hard Rock. Breaks from the double mod a lot more significant. Obviously that 2 mod multiplier adds a lot of score at the end.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the 2-mod multiplier making a big difference. Obviously, if you have Jup dropping instead of Faye, it's going to be swaying more towards New Zealand, but we're seeing misses all over the place at the moment from a lot of players. And it's kind of expected because if you're opting for Hidden on this map, you've got a lot of density to deal with. And then if you're going for Hard Rock, obviously there's the aim requirement plus the accuracy requirement. So this map is pretty unforgiving in terms of what it has to offer on free mod. But it is going to be going slightly in favor of New Zealand. They do have the double full combo advantage. Jup also dropping his high combo there. It's only Wookie with a full combo on the side of Finland.
He is rocking Hard Rock though, so a reasonable amount of score multiplier, but it's Faye right now for New Zealand that's giving them this massive score lead. That really good accuracy on the hidden Hard Rock as well, doing a lot of favors for his points. But as I'm talking about him, he breaks, of course. Why wouldn't he? So
that's just the rule. The rule of thumb. Whenever a caster talks about a player, it's over. It's over for that player. Seeing a couple of chain misses coming in from Freeze and Samoyed on that flow pattern. Jup and Wookie also dropping as well. It looks like it's going to be all over for Finland.
Yeah, that's a big combo drop. All 4 players reset their combo during that section, while Short Potato on that no mod for New Zealand is still holding a double S, in fact.
Yeah, Short Potato is definitely a player who should be comfortable on a map like this, and if he's playing it on no mod, you know, he's going to be perfectly fine. He's been around for quite some time. I would say he's quite good at Hard Rock, but obviously seeing him on no mod is something that you wouldn't not expect that on a map like this. And we do start talking about him and he misses.
I tried to stop. I tried, Kato. I tried to give him it, but I think he's done enough here. I think for the New Zealand team, now losing isn't really an option. We're into the final slice map, and looks like their first pick's going to work out. That free mods scouting they did in the warm-ups paying dividends here. A 500,000 point victory on map number 1. It's a good start to this losers bracket match.
Yeah, that was a pretty convincing win for them, especially once you saw all the players of Finland drop. You just knew it was pretty much game over. You know, the New Zealand players had done their job. They'd held on as long as they needed to. So, kudos to them. Short Potato with insane accuracy, by the way. Only 2 misses.
There's only 100 for Zoomer as well on the hidden. Accuracies here were really good across the board, in fact. That's a really good map as well to just settle nerves. It's not overly difficult, and it's not like too reading focused. It's just kind of a map, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I have to admit that whenever I'm dealing with nerves, I feel like my reading always goes like, you know, bonkers. It just something goes wrong. Like it's either perfectly on or it's perfectly off. But I guess in this situation, they were still feeling it. Finland, on the other hand, might have been struggling a little bit with that aspect. It's hard to say whether or not nerves are playing a big thing in this match, because I think these 2 teams should be fairly comfortable when it comes to nerves.
Alright, time for Finland to choose their first map. See what direction they're thinking. No mod 2, we're going to streams.
Going from one extreme to the other. So we're going to be seeing a density jump pick into a stream pick.
Is it 13 Charlotte? Or would it be XIII?
I honestly don't know. I would say maybe 13 Charlotte.
Would make sense,
if
right?
You think about it, if it's a Roman numeral.
But yeah, it's pretty much what you expect from a Cherry Blossom map. It's just a lot of streams. At 195 BPM, those are just shy of that 200 mark. Shouldn't be too intensive for these players.
Yeah, this map actually has a changing BPM as well. It goes from 186 up to 195 at some point, if I'm not mistaken, but the stream length is definitely something that changes throughout that point. This map features a lot of longer streams, some shorter streams as well, but it's mostly focused around stream aim. So the big thing here is going to be whether or not the players can follow the streams and also hold on. You know, it is quite stamina intensive.
Yeah, so we're going to see the one change here for Finland as Santeri is going to come in for Jup. We're going to see Big Z and Yellowy in for New Zealand. Now everyone's warmed up and fingers ready. Beautiful 70% axe across the board. Love that first stream for that.
Yeah, nothing like an abrupt start when it comes to a stream map. If you have a stream and you just happen to mistime it ever so slightly, your accuracy is just going to look really, really bad. But luckily enough, we have plenty of opportunity for it to pick back up as the map does progress. Getting into one of the longer streams, all players are still holding on pretty comfortably, seeing a few act drops. Nothing too detrimental at this point. It's still pretty close. It's only about a 20,000 point difference. Getting the spin to win in.
Yeah, still early 4 double S's. 2 apiece right now. It's just Samoyed accuracy right now that gives New Zealand the advantage. And it will be Waki first to drop from Finland. Up on the short side, already at the halfway mark, and still 7 full combos on the board. Finland the only drop. Really impressive stuff so far. But New Zealand needs to find breaks here for Finland to win their pick. And they do. Yellowy is going to drop. They're going to need another. There goes Zuma. Finland making a comeback now. Big Z down as well.
Going back in favor of Finland at the moment. They're dropping combos all over the place. There is not a single combo on the side of New Zealand. Finland is going to be running away with this one.
Oh, it looks so good for a moment. But now Freeze will drop, so 2 full combos left for Finland.
It was definitely looking really close for a moment there, but then it just, after all those combo breaks on the side of New Zealand, it just went right back to Finland, and they're going to be taking that one by a very convincing lead of around 900,000 points.
Just watch those New Zealand players fall one by one.
Yeah, you got to wonder if that was a stamina issue or not. It seemed like a lot of their accuracy started to drop towards the end there because we had a lot of people holding on to SS, but it could have just been the fact that, you know, a couple people misaimed the stream. We do see a lot of misses from Short Potato and Big Z, which is where most of that accuracy drop does come from. So I think maybe a slight misaim for some of them, maybe a stamina issue for the others. But very good pick by Finland there.
Yeah, worked out in the end. It looked rough for a moment. Centauri will get the only full combo. Waki and Freeze both had 99% accuracies though. It's a really good solid team performance there. And we're going to go straight into map number 3 then. Looks like Immortal Philosophy, the second free mod picked by New Zealand, hoping to recreate that first map performance. Wonder if we'll see the same 4 from New Zealand as we saw on that first map.
I think that's probably going to be expected. I think we'll probably see Faye come into this one and opt for the hidden hard rock. But the other thing as well is that depending on the free mod map, especially as the stages get later and later, we're actually probably going to start seeing a few people opt for the sacrificial lamb sort of strategy, where you might see one of the players opt for hard rock, despite them not being the most comfortable player. Just that way so that other players can get no mod FCs guaranteed. I think that is going to become a little bit more common later on, but it's hard to say whether or not that's going to be the case now. I think these players should be capable of doing well on this. I must admit, this map is fairly difficult on hard rock, especially if you don't have the aim requirement for it, because there are some pretty fast sliders which you need to be able to aim and then control your cursor on. But the hidden also offers a little bit of density similar to the first pick, and some spacing changes which might throw some players off.
Yeah, you can almost call this a balanced free mod pick. Almost.
Almost.
It's getting there. One of the harder things to balance is the free mod pool. It definitely makes the rule change nice, forcing a player to play on the least favourable mod.
Yeah, and I mean, there's obviously going to be situations where someone might find the map easier with either mod. You might have like two hard rock players who just can't play this no mod, but they can, you know, manage to do some crazy stuff on it when it comes to hard rock.
I Finland will be making no substitutions from their first attempt. Oh no, actually, Waki is out. Like Centeri. It's the same lineup they had for the... It's not even the same lineup because Jup's back in. Never mind. But we do see Yellowy in for New Zealand.
Also got Faye coming back in once again for the Hidden Hard Rock. Jump opting for Hidden Hard Rock and Freeze going Hard Rock. So we actually do see the bonus Hard Rock from Finland once again.
Yeah, this time Freeze though instead of Waki. So you mentioned a bit of a different map. So
I must admit, the rule changes this year also offers a lot of diversity in terms of who will run the modification, because the fact that you're forcing a player to run Hard Rock, you might have someone who's a bit more comfortable on a specific type of free mod map. In this situation, we're obviously seeing some changes from Finland, so it could be whether maybe Waki just doesn't feel like he's playing the best, or maybe it's just a map that he doesn't perform too well on with Hard Rock. Finland have obviously opted to change up the players with which mods they're running, so this time we're going to be seeing Freeze on Hard Rock.
Alright, no early slips from either team. This is a longer sided map, over 4 minutes in length. Like Finland have the lead on a small accuracy advantage at the moment. And actually they have a full full Hard Rock mod advantage here on Freezed.
Yeah, not to mention as well, Samoyed and Santeri also holding on to very high accuracy. Jup also with 99.5 on Hard Rock. Finland do have a very good accuracy advantage going for them at the moment, but we are getting into some harder sections where players are likely to break, and as I say that, Jup is going to be the first one to fall victim to one of those sections.
Yeah, this might end up the same as that first map with the Hidden Hard Rock for Faye, paying a lot more points towards the New Zealand side. I'm getting thrown off because he doesn't actually have no fail on. It's the only player without no fail from the side of New Zealand. And we do see him fail, actually.
We've got to keep that in mind, that the option for failing will result in his score counting as 0, so you know, it could have just been a case of him forgetting to put it on, but who knows. I mean, as long as he isn't failed by the end of the map, it should be fine for him. Nonetheless, he does end up breaking on the slow section. I wanted to point that out before, but the no fail mention was just too spooky.
We do see a drop from Freeze though, so advantage is in New Zealand again. The score is flickering back and forth though, it cannot make up its mind. The accuracy for Zuma is kind of hurting New Zealand a little bit here. They do have those 3 full combos though.
Yeah, the score difference isn't significant yet, but it could be, depending on how long they hold on for. Or the stream catches Jup, but everyone else manages to hold on through it.
Yeah, that's big for New Zealand. A little bit of free combo here. Chance to reset grips and everything on these slower sliders.
But also another opportunity for the nerfs to set in even more. Slow sections are always horrendous when it comes to these tournament maps, or just tournament matches in general. Faye finds a drop. Samoyed and Santeri both break. It looks like it is going to be all over for Finland once again, as we see pretty much the same situation from last map, where all players have broke. We've still got 2 full combos on the side of New Zealand. Yellowy and Short Potato going wild at the moment. 2 no-mod players. You got to wonder if Finland is making a slight mistake here with the overmod, but even despite having the extra Hard Rock, I still think this one would have gone towards New Zealand.
Yeah, putting that double no mod to good use here. Faye and Jup actually having a real head-to-head battle on that Hidden Hard Rock. Very close scores between the two of them. Looks like New Zealand will do enough here to secure a second point. Short Potato does break on the last triple pattern. But Yellowy will get that full combo.
Definitely would have been a scary situation if Faye did end up failing at the end there, but even still, regardless of that happening or not, New Zealand would have taken that one.
Yeah, it's a good point, actually. Completely forgot about the no-fail from Faye. You mentioned, though, they did enough. I wonder if we will actually see a map in this World Cup go down to someone failing because they forgot to put no-fail on. It would be so tragic.
I definitely think the forgetting to put no-fail thing on is a possibility. Obviously, in some of these earlier stages, we're unlikely to see that kind of thing happen. But again, just for those that aren't aware, this seeing players with no-fail is basically the alternative to having failed scores count, which is something that has been present in community tournaments pretty much for the past 2 or 3 years now. So this is basically the World Cup's way of introducing that. And no-fail 1.0 multiplier is going to be the way to do that. So if you see a player without no-fail, definitely worth getting a little bit of anxiety if there is some sort of fail potential at the end.
Alright, finish pick. We saw them take the stream map for their first choice. Not a huge number of stream maps in this pool. And with Shinsekai banned out by themselves, which was the only other really streamy map in this, you wonder where they'll go next. Maybe, I don't know if they feel like playing Quinine. It does have streams in it.
It's hard to say because I think maybe Kanade might not be a bad option for them. It's aim plus a tiny little bit of stream component. If they're capable of hitting the really hard streams in this map, they should be able to beat New Zealand on this because we've seen a couple of drops. But even in the free mods, it's hard to say. The hard rock players on both sides haven't been doing particularly well. Obviously, Faye did really well on the first free mod map, but the second one, that was looking a little bit more rough. We're going to be opting for Senkyo Rambu, which is the finger control heavy pick.
And I guess in a way, it's a stream map.
Technically, it does have streams. It's just very, very low BPM streams. Again, another map where it requires a lot of finger control, a lot of 1-6 and 1-4 patterns. And yeah, just all sorts of, you know, it feels like a BPM change despite it not actually being a BPM change. It's just the way that it has been mapped. So this intro is going to see a lot of act drops most likely. You might see 1 or 2 players who are, you know, particularly strong in this field.
Yeah, this map has a real skill set to it. Low BPM finger control. You need some snappy aim during some patterns as well. And it's long. You have to keep consistent. Will be interesting to see. We did see the New Zealanders put up a good fight on Charlotte until about maybe the last third, where it seemed that their stamina fell off. But this doesn't have that stamina element. It's all about finger control.
Yeah, stamina definitely isn't the thing that is required for this map at all. It's going to be more about aim control and also obviously finger control, keeping your fingers, you know, consistent on a low BPM. It's not an easy task for a lot of people, especially when it comes to having to focus on, you know, a lot of aim control where you have to snap to each pattern. It gets quite tricky. A lot of distance changes.
We're going to see a first appearance then for this match for DT Jump from New Zealand, which is kind of ironic having DT in the name and then picking the lowest BPM map in the pool, but who am I to judge?
Definitely a contrast between the name and the map, but we will be getting into that one very shortly. A couple of people not going with no fail this time around. I mean, this map doesn't have much fail potential at the end, so it's probably expected. Although I have
interesting the Zuma took his no fail off. He had it on for the last map and he's taking it off for this map. You would expect players joining potentially not to put it on because it's their first map, right? And they go, "Oh, I haven't got no fail on. I'll make sure I put it on for the next one." But
I'm actually not sure if when a map is changed, do all the players have their mods reset? Because when they do their MP commands, I think maybe we might see some situations where players actually have their no fail removed, so everyone has to remember to put it back on. And the client is kind of weird sometimes, but yeah, getting back into the map though, Santori, Wiki, and Samoyed have all dropped. It's only Freeze holding on here against 3 full combos. DT Jump coming in and having a couple breaks in this intro, but it should pick up in due time. Freeze also finding a break early, so that is not looking good. As I mentioned as well, Samoyed, I did point out a miss, but I believe that was client lag.
This intro has destroyed almost everyone. Only 3 players standing. Zuma and Yellowy holding on for New Zealand, but look at that, as you mentioned, that early accuracy as well. Everyone finding huge accuracy drops.
Yeah, 96.8 being the highest for the Finnish side, both from Freeze and Santeri. DT Jump finding another break.
There's breaks everywhere. It's only Yellowy now who's on a full combo. No one looking particularly consistent on this in the early stages. Into some snappy aim, jump streams, and everyone seems to be refinding a bit of focus here. Finland actually have the lead right now. They do have a combo advantage despite Yellowy's full combo. This one's going to be really back and forth all the way to the end, I think, and as we find some more breaks.
Yeah, the combos are quite mixed at the moment. We have Yellowy with the highest combo. He's doing work for the New Zealand side. But on the other hand, you have Finland with a lot of mid combos. One on the lower side. Wookie does actually find a break. Despite the score going in their favor, it looks like it's going to be tiptoeing back to New Zealand in due time if they manage to hold on any longer. The accuracy advantage, I would say, is in Finland's favor. It's hard to say because Samoyed is sitting on a 93% that has a high combo. But it's going to be going back towards New Zealand. Any break here is going to change things.
Yeah, New Zealand just needs to hold on now. All 4 of them are building up a decent combo here. That reset from Waki actually being really significant. And that's a huge miss from Freeze. That's going to give New Zealand a massive advantage now as Waki will break again. And looks like New Zealand are going to steal this point away. Break from Samoyed as well. Still no drops from New Zealand. Yellowy's still on that full combo. It doesn't matter, they don't have premium accuracy. They're doing everything else that they need to do.
Yellowy putting in work for New Zealand. Santeri also doing a very good job for Finland, but unfortunately it was not enough. It's unlikely there are actually, any chain misses here, but I mean, a slight misread of some pattern at the end here could have actually turned that, especially if Zuma or DT Jump did find a fail, but yeah, it's like very, very unlikely to fail on that map at all.
That one miss for Yellowy must have been right at the start of the map. 844k top score. A lot of one misses actually for that New Zealand team. 3 of them with only the one miss. And it will be breakpoint New Zealand. They are ahead in this match with some clearance. And it's their pick again. A chance to go up 4-1.
I mean, despite Finland being the ones to skip the warm-up, it's hard to say if they're feeling ready at the moment. They've only got 1 point on the board. They need to pull something out in order for the comeback to be in full force.
Alright, what do New Zealand pick next? They've already used double free mod.
I think we're probably going to be expecting a hard rock or a hidden coming out from them some point soon. They've been doing really, really well on the free mods, so I think they're going to look to continue with modifications, but with a double time ban, I don't think they want to opt for DT at all.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Try and stay away from that speed. I don't see them picking Vajra. I don't see them taking 6.5. Because Finland have been opting for double hard rock.
I was actually thinking that maybe Vajra wouldn't be too bad of an option because it's kind of similar to Sankyo Rambu in a way, but not quite the same. Obviously, it's another map that's very focused around finger control and just low BPM streams in general, but with hard rock, it's a completely different playfield. So, but they will be opting for Humanoid, which is going to be the alt map. Yeah, another finger control map. Looking for another low BPM alternative.
Looks like another bit of a roster swap up here from New Zealand. 2 players drop out of the lobby. We've seen a very core roster for Finland though. I haven't seen them flex their roster that much. I haven't seen much of Dragon Mob actually this match either. Actually quite surprised to see that. He's definitely one of the better aim players, the captain of the Finnish team as well. Popped in for map number 1 and since then... Actually, he didn't even pop in for map number 1, he played the warm-up. He's been AFK since then. Very surprised by that. Potentially part of the reason why they didn't play their warm-up. Maybe Dragon Mob was on a time clock or something. Alright, New Zealand short 1 player for Humanoid, and it looks like it will be DT Jump filling in that last spot. Massive point here for New Zealand. If they win this one, get themselves on match point.
I still just love the irony of seeing DT Jump come in for all of the low BPM maps.
It is great.
But yeah, not much of a roster switch for Finland. Seems like these players are going to be the core for a lot of these maps. It's hard to say whether or not they just don't have the numbers, or if these guys are just the ones that have performed the best in warm-ups, or practice, rather.
So we might need to get a panic on for Yellowy to connect. If DT Jump doesn't single tap the alternate map, I'm going to be very disappointed. And he needs a name change to half-time jump. Alright, there we go. We are underway. Nope, he's alternating. Alright, someone buy this man a name change. It's like a strong start for New Zealand. We do see the early break from Samoyed for Finland. But Short Potato now matches.
Samoyed actually looking a little bit shaky there. I saw on that stream in particular where he missed right at the end. Seems to be having a little bit of trouble with some cursor control. And this map is definitely one where you need a lot of that, as you can see. All sorts of tricky alternate snap patterns. Santeria is going to be one to find a break. Big Z also following up from the New Zealand side. So once again, this evens things out ever so slightly. I was about to say New Zealand have the slight advantage. They do have the combo advantage at the moment, but accuracy is in favor of Finland, so the lead is still going to them at the moment.
Yeah, it's 399% and Samoyed on 95. Stark contrast, but early advantage. I believe it's 2 FCs apiece right now.
Well, we actually did see DT Jump find a break right before the break there.
Oh, that one's going to hurt. Yeah, Yellowy now the only full combo for New Zealand. 2 plays 1.
Have to wonder if this pick is going to backfire on them. They do have a lot of momentum behind them, but it's definitely Finland's opportunity to get some behind themselves. They need this momentum right now. Some phenomenal accuracy coming out from Freeze and Wookie at the moment though. Samoyed and Big Z both finding breaks, trading once again.
That's fine for New Zealand right now. They just have to ensure that Yellowy holds on and Freeze and Wookie need to find a break. Oh, but Yellowy doesn't. Wookie drops as well. Santeria and DT as well.
A lot of significant breaks, but Freeze manages to hold on. Short Potato versus Freeze at the moment. If Freeze does happen to find a break anytime soon, it could be all over for Finland, especially if Short Potato manages to hold on. But either one of those 2 combo breaks on each side will result in this point going to either side.
Yeah, they are literally the only 2 big combos. This is a long map, 4 minutes.
Short Potato sees the pressure that's on him right now, as well as Freezed. Freezed is holding on with 99.9.
That's wild. That's like 1/100, I think.
This is a mental run from Freezed.
It's just extra pressure.
I was going to say pretty much solo carrying, but again, as you mentioned, there's a lot of pressure on him. Short Potato is trailing behind by about 150,000 points. But the longer that Freezed holds on, the better it is for Finland. He's doing the job that needs to be done. Managing to get through that really, really tricky quad section. Sunfairy finds another break.
Yellowy has dropped as well recently.
It does not matter at all. Freezed is just carrying this one so hard.
He looks so solid. What is this accuracy? This is a ridiculous performance, exactly when Finland needed it. Even if he breaks now, I think he's done enough. They have 20k. Freeze showing no weakness here.
Freeze was off to a little bit of a rough start in the first few maps, but he is picking it back up, pretty much carrying Finland, getting over a third of their score.
He was 210 points off that 1 mil score, which I'm pretty sure on a map that has no spinners, that's a 1/100.
That is a ridiculous performance. As I mentioned, Freeze is one of the, tournament players that have stepped up in community tournaments, and he is really showing it here right now. After a bit of a rocky start, this is the Freeze we were expecting.
Yeah, just this map has a bit of an outro for some reason. I'm sure one of the players hasn't skipped, so the score screen should come up very shortly. I hope. Or we might just have to bypass him completely, which would be sad. Yeah, Freeze froze the game screens, he did it.
Freeze literally living up to the name on that one. Such a performance definitely is warranting a Freeze on that map. But anyway, it's going to be getting into Finland's pick. That one did backfire on New Zealand.
Yeah, massive point for Finland to win. New Zealand win that, they're on match point.
It's really hard to say if that actually backfired on them. They did really, really well overall. It's just that Freeze was just so strong.
Yeah, you don't often throw the term solo carry around in Score v2 and 4-man team tournaments, but Freeze carried, straight up. Finnish pick though, still 2 double time maps. Wonder if they'll opt for either of them.
So they're going to be opting for Kodama. Bit of a change in pace. Going to be opting for the tech pick.
How many times has this been picked this round? I haven't seen it yet.
I think I've seen it once or twice, but I haven't been paying attention to every single match. I've been kind of MIA, obviously pooling and stuff, taking up a lot of time, but yeah, it's definitely something that's big on the weekends.
Been picked twice, but it's still tied as the least picked map, along with Canada.
Poor Canada. Poor Kodama. It's always the 6-letter ones. Starts with a K.
Starts with a K.
Starts with a K. Anything that just starts with a K, man.
I'm surprised
he's left behind.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm only on for one match, which is this one, so...
And the next one.
Well, yeah, technically, the block, you know.
Hey, man, you get to commentate your home country. Be proud.
True. That is very true. But why do they always put the biased commentators on for that?
I mean, you bring the most hype. Albeit one-way biased hype, it's still hype.
I definitely need to be in for one of the UK matches, seeing as I am half, so... But... Getting into this map, it is going to be Kodama. A bit of an aim-focused tech pick. It's hard to call this like full-on tech. It's kind of like generic tech in a way. So obviously much more aim-focused with some sliders. Pro box tech is pretty much always like that. Very solid overall. Tests a lot of consistency, plus, you know, techie elements.
Yeah, this is at least one of the more playable Pro Box maps out there. He has some rather unplayable stuff. Straight into those sliders. At least the one nice thing about them, they don't often feature slider ticks, which means that slider breaking on this, as long as you hit the head, you might drop accuracy, but you're unlikely to drop combo, which is very important, obviously.
Yeah, it's definitely important for the players to hit the circles. I agree there.
You know what I mean. Come on, man. We're going to find our first break. Zuma, Samoyed, and Faye will drop, so advantage Finland early on.
So a bit of a rough start for New Zealand, but Wookiee trades another miss as well. Zuma finding another break, resetting that combo. Still in favor of Finland, 2 full combos against each other. Looking to be a pretty solid pick from Finland at the moment. Short Potato does find a break, so it's going to be 1 against 2. Almost at the halfway point.
It's now 1 versus 1, but Santeri drops and Big Z now the only full combo left, and he's on 99%. That score's going to come back very quickly. New Zealand going to take the lead.
Right before the break as well, we see Samoyed finding a combo reset, and Finland are not looking to be in any good position right now. Big Z is doing work for New Zealand. They've got a couple of high combos as well, 300 combos. And we're getting into a slow section as well, so this is the worst place for Finland to find breaks.
That's a 4 combo reset for Finland as well. Faye and Zuma both have more combo than anyone on the Finnish side.
Yeah, and even Short Potato is also matching the highest combo, breaking at the same point that Freeze did.
Every note that Big Z hits is a lot of score here for New Zealand. Sees Faye slider break, but it's not the combo that matters right now.
Finland are definitely going to need a miracle, and Samoyed breaking there is not going to be that miracle. Santeri also finds a break. Big Z manages to hold on through all of that, so New Zealand are going to run away with this. Big Z ends up breaking, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Zuma, Short Potato are both holding on to very high combos. It's only Freeze for the Finnish side.
Yeah, that score lead just growing and growing. 400k now. As we see a break from Faye. Freeze is trying his best here. Unless Zuma and Short Potato drop, it won't be enough. There goes Zuma. There's one of them. But there's only a tiny piece of map left, and it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, the players on the New Zealand side have done the work that needed to be done in order to secure that one. They will be taking that 4-2. It is at match point now. It's definitely getting very scary for Finland. Tiebreaker is still a possibility, but it's not going to be easy.
2 S ranks there. Zuma and Big Z both finding slider breaks. That 99% as well. Both Big Z and Short Potato. Really respectable accuracies for a map like this.
The accuracies do kind of even themselves out though. They had a lot of 98% on the Finnish side with 196. Faye was a little bit on the lower end as well. But yeah, definitely 99% on that is not something to bat an eye over.
(4-2) then. New Zealand match point and pick. Although we did see their last one backfire on them. Would expect them now to jump into that. Maybe Hard Rock or Hidden Pool. Quinine, obviously the only hidden map left. I would think Canada, but honestly I have no idea. Just gonna come down to what the team's feeling.
I think we would all think Canada, but it's been pretty neglected in this tournament so far. Hard to say whether or not the players aren't enjoying it or if it's just one of those maps which, you know, people don't want to risk it on. But either way, I think New Zealand are most likely to dive into a mod pool, and there it is. It's going to be Vajra. I did mention this before. I was expecting them to go for either Hidden or the Hard Rocks, and they're going to be testing Finland on 6.5. Bit of an interesting choice as well, because as you mentioned, Finland were running 2 Hard Rocks in the free mod picks, whereas we only saw 1 Hard Rock from the New Zealand side. So could be a pick that backfires on them, but I think they should be okay with this one, seeing as it's kind of similar to Senkyo Rambo in a way, but obviously the CS 6.5 and Hard Rock make a big difference. It's going to be focused a lot more around accuracy.
Oh, we're going to see Nucifera come in for New Zealand as well. First time this match. Potentially then a Hard Rock specialist here for New Zealand. Although you would maybe then think you'd see them on the free mods. I don't know. Maybe just small circle specialist.
Yeah, definitely could be a case of having really, really good precision, and that's something that is required for a map like this. Definitely a few rosters are going to have a few players that will come in for specific niche skill sets. I think this is definitely one of those maps which offered this.
I'm just really curious where Dragon Mob is. He would be so tailored for a map like this.
Definitely have to wonder if it's a case of availability or not.
Which would be
Could
really
also
sad.
just not be feeling it, you know. Some days players might just be sick or something.
True.
Anyone gets the common cold. Playing with the common cold is probably one of the worst experiences.
There's nothing worse than having to sneeze mid-map, especially on 6.5.
That's alright, we've got a few Iron Men who can probably sneeze and manage to keep their cursor controlled on that kind of stuff. It's once again similar roster for Finland. Not really much change at all. Seeing Nucifera come in for New Zealand, going to be interesting to see how he performs on this one because we haven't seen him yet. This is the first time he'll be making an appearance this match.
Stepping in for a pick like this as well, definitely going to have some nerves on match point. But he'll have been playing in the background, keeping himself warm for sure. Potentially just playing this map on repeat. Hopefully he hasn't mind blocked himself.
Yeah, it's like, you know, playing it on repeat just makes me think, you know, he's been assigned Vajra duty. But it's not looking good
It's
at
not
all.
looking good at all. Oh dear, 2 drops early for New Zealand. Nucifera and DT Jump will find breaks.
Yeah,
It's a
finding
short
break
map as
on
well.
the short snap jump, but it's definitely going to be a case of who holds on through one of the harder sections in the middle, I would have to say. Sunterry does actually find a break for the finish side, so it's going to be 3 full combos against 2 in Finland's favour. One of the harder sections is going to be coming up. We're getting into a slow 1/3 part. This is where you're going to expect a lot of players to need that snap control. Might see a few people be single tapping through this section. It's definitely a common thing that I've witnessed. Sunterry finds another break. So far, all players holding on. Ooh, Nucifera and Yellowy break on that part, along with Samoyed as well. Still in favor of Finland, though. They have 2 full combos against 1, and DT Jump with a 400.
89% for DT Jump though. The accuracy from the two players actually, the entire of the New Zealand roster is really suffering right now. 2 players on 90%. Oh, Freeze right now, full combo 98%. Waki with a full combo. Looking really good for Finland right now.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the score difference between Freeze and Short Potato at the moment. It's almost 80,000 points. It's going to be pretty much all of those 2 players to hold on now. Finland is looking very, very strong. Short Potato finds a break. Freeze is going to be holding on through this. Finds a bit of an accuracy drop. But Finland are going to be taking this point away from New Zealand. And yet again, another situation where a pick backfires on them, all because Freeze has hard carries.
What is this man doing right now? Keeping his team in the World Cup. You got to respect it.
Wookie also did have a very solid performance as well, only finding a slider break with a 700 combo. Very well played by him. Short Potato did the best that he could, but unfortunately was not enough for the New Zealand side.
If you've got to give New Zealand something for this, it's the team consistency and all 4 players achieving a B rank. It does at least look pretty, right?
That is consistency on their side for sure. Nucifera coming in for that one wasn't quite the best performance we would have expected, but it's hard to say. Maybe he would have been better than any other player that had been practicing this.
Yeah, CS 6.5 is that kind of map that, with nerves, is just extra hard. Any kind of cursor shake and you can just slip off a note.
Yeah, I mean, breaking the nerves on a map like that is not easy at all, and that being his first map of the match, definitely not the way to do it.
Well, Kano, will we have it? Will we see our first tiebreaker of this World Cup?
Is it really the first tiebreaker of the World Cup?
There hasn't been one yet.
Damn. That's crazy. I mean, it's possible. Finland are giving a fight that we were expecting, honestly. I think it's just a bit of a surprise because this match has been so back and forth. We've seen both of them take their own picks and now we're seeing them trade picks. And now they have the opportunity to pick something. What do they opt for?
Still no touching of the double time pool. Both Spring of Dreams and Halloween of the Dead been ignored. I would think that maybe they'd be looking at it, right? New Zealand banned double time 3, so they're banning double time, albeit the speedier of the 3 double time picks, but maybe that means that Halloween of the Dead might be a good pick. But then again, if you don't have players, you can play 10.3, you don't want to play Halloween of the Dead. It's really tough to call at this point.
Yeah, Halloween of the Dead is a very interesting map on 10.3 especially. I don't think a lot of teams particularly want to play that map. But here we go. We're going to be seeing a double time pick, the first one of the match, Spring of Dreams. This is probably a good choice by Finland, assuming that they can play it pretty well, because New Zealand did opt for the ban on double time 3. So they wanted to remove some speed from the pool, and maybe they were just hoping that Finland wouldn't want to match them on double time, but we're going to be seeing that happen now.
Yeah, it's about 225 this, I think. Maybe like 230. It's not the fastest map in the pool, and definitely relies more on aim. This can really go either way. I don't think this is a guaranteed win for Finland at all. We do see Big Z come back in for New Zealand. Nucifera looks like they might be staying in as well, so getting more than the one map rodeo. Just to mention that we are slightly overrunning on this match. So the match coming up after this one will be Australia versus South Korea, and that match will be pretty much starting straight away after the conclusion of this one.
We were expecting a very, very close match, and that's what we're seeing right now. This one, I can't call this pick. I think Finland will probably take this one just based on the fact that New Zealand banned out the other double time, but it could go either way. It is not necessarily the fastest map in the pool, especially in the DT pool as well. As you mentioned, it is 229. I think it's so hard to call because this is another one which is very focused around finger control.
All right, then, here we go. Will it be game over for Finland? Will it be Finland? Sorry, I had to. Or will we be seeing the first tiebreaker of the World Cup?
I definitely think a lot of people are excited for the first tiebreaker of the World Cup, but I don't know. This map is just going to be so scary. It's a huge change of pace as well. I mean, we've had a lot of like slow or low VPM maps so far. They obviously had New Zealand ban out the other double time, and there's been no double time picked, so things are changing up.
Very early break there. Yeah, yellowy. It's a relatively short map. We're already a quarter of the way through.
And also, you did mention the whereabouts of Dragon Mob, but it's actually coming back in for this one, so I'm going to be seeing him in for DT. Sunterry finds a break. All players from Finland breaking there. Nucifera finds a break along with Big Z as well, so it's 2 high combos to none. Wookie also found a break somewhere.
Zuma is living up to his name right now. Only 4 combo left for New Zealand. He does break, of course, as I mentioned it, but big advantage now for New Zealand.
Finland's opportunity to make a comeback here. They have the combo advantage. They just need to hold on for the rest of the map. If New Zealand find chain misses, it could go back in their favor, but Wookie and Santerio both find a break. Dragon Mob also breaking. Freeze is the only player still holding on for the finish side with 99.2.
Can Freeze do it again? Can he put Finland on his back a final time? Well, okay, maybe if he does, then there might be another. But for this pick, Nucifera drops, Santeri drops. Big combo drops on the bottom row. Dragon Mob, Freeze, Yellowy, Big Z all drop. And I think with Freeze breaking, and Zuma now has the top combo, New Zealand will close this one out. And they will.
New Zealand are going to be taking that one away 5-3. We're not going to be seeing the first tiebreaker of the World Cup, but maybe another day.
It's got to happen.
What a
once.
match, though. What a match. New Zealand are going to be knocking Finland out of the tournament, though. Both of these teams are on their second chance. And New Zealand are going to be progressing to the losers bracket.
Another pick-em upset as well. New Zealand be given the underdog for this one, but they proved that they are the dog. And they will take Finland out of the World Cup. And progress through to losers round 2.
I mean, very, very solid performances from both teams. Freeze definitely getting the MVP for Finland towards the end of that match. Some insane performances overall. New Zealand had quite a few MVP trades across that one. We definitely did see Short Potato, Faye, and Big Z step up a lot. Yellowy as well on the map. But we're going to be getting into the next match, which is going to be Australia versus South Korea.
Oh, little spoiler there. You can see that they're
little spoiler of the warm-up.
Yeah, we will see then that New Zealand will progress and they will face the loser of Poland and Romania in losers round 2. A match which I believe is happening later on today. But yeah, Kano, we got a big match now here. This is winners bracket. This is Australia versus South Korea. And without trying to be too biased, why didn't you give us a rundown of this Australian roster?
Well, the Australian roster, as I've mentioned before, are very, very focused around Hard Rock and Double Time this year. They do have some strengths in No Mod and Hidden, but it is honestly map dependent when it comes to those. I would say overall, most Double Time maps and Hard Rock maps they should be pretty comfortable in. And as you can see from this warm-up, all players are actually rocking Hidden Hard Rock.
I'm sure this is some kind of weird flex that's going on here. I was actually just, waking myself up this morning with a lovely bit of Osu multiplayer when Monkey Atso joins the same game I'm in. And he was like, yep, I know you, you're the commentator for the World Cup. And he said that I was really good, so I just want to give him a shout out for being such a nice guy. Made my morning that little bit brighter.
Wholesome Osu moments.
Exactly. There is a community out there that's friendly and warm.
I mean, but on the other side as well, you've got South Korea. They are such a dominant roster. Aristia is pretty much a combo god. Always has been. Flying Tuna has also been really, really, really just insane in tournaments recently. He's been like stepping up to a lot of maps. We would obviously expect him more on the double time stuff, but he's just been playing everything, getting good at everything. DDM is another one that's been seen in community tournaments. And Zayson as well. Very, very solid players on the Korean roster that we're seeing in there now. And they also have a couple that are on the bench at the moment, but overall, these two teams are probably going to be the closest match of the higher end this week.
Yeah, South Korea also have that really high-ranked new player, Ponytail. Really exceptional player, so definitely one to look out for as well. In terms of just both these teams are talked about as being contenders for top 4 this year. I have really high hopes for Australia personally, but you look at the South Korean roster and they have, as you mentioned, a lot of really talented players. I wouldn't be surprised to see this match go to tiebreaker, honestly. South Korea may not have had the best performance in qualifiers though, which is why this matchup has happened. Australia did have a really good showing. In fact, they finished second in the double time pool, especially. They have a lot of really good double time players. I definitely expect the 10.3 to be banned here from South Korea.
From when it comes to the bans, I think Australia might be opting to ban out some hidden against South Korea, just taking the safe route. We may see a no mod ban of some sort, but yeah, as you mentioned, I also think that South Korea looking to ban double time against Australia. They have such a roster for it. And Hard Rock might not be a bad alternative as well, but I think the Hard Rock picks are probably going to be more favored towards South Korea, or at least, you know, it's going to be close between the two teams. They are somewhat niche, I would say, especially with Vajra being one of them.
Yeah, I would expect potentially Quinine the ban for Australia. So if I had to put this, if I had to guess, it would be Quinine for Australia and Halloween of the Dead for South Korea. Those would be my predictions for bans. Because, yeah, stark contrast, Australia in qualifiers 22nd on hidden when second on double time. It's a pretty big difference in terms of skill consistency.
Yeah. I mean, talk about tough opponents, man. Both of these teams have such a brick wall to get through. I mean, it's basically putting two brick walls up against each other and just seeing whichever one falls over first, you know?
It definitely is. Actually, this is also another fun thing. So the match we just watched, these are the two victors of the previous matches, if that makes sense. So Australia came through against Finland and South Korea came through against New Zealand. So we kind of saw losers versus losers, and now we're going to see winners versus winners. Both of those qualifying round of 32 matches were both 5-0. So it's like you've got two really good teams battling out now here in winners bracket.
I mean, we saw how close the other two teams were, so we're probably going to expect pretty much the exact same thing out of the two upper bracket as well.
Also, Australia qualify seed 8, South Korea 9. They are literally as close on paper as you could have ever put it. They're 3rd and 4th in average top 4 ranks. Like almost every stat on paper puts these teams at like level pegging.
And here we are going to see the Australian warm-up. Another Danganronpa super mix. We saw it last week. We're going to see it again.
Grand Senpai mapping. No fails from South Korea. I don't know how tough this map is. Probably not too bad, but you never know.
I would say it's pretty evil, but when you have Aristia on South Korean side, Aristia just pretty much combos anything.
Yeah, some people are just a little bit good at this game.
Just a little bit. Only a little tiny bit, you know? They're only playing in the World Cup for a reason.
Yeah.
Definitely not a very friendly sight read if you're not aware of how fast these sliders are, though.
Do you not assume when you see a full screen slider it's going to be like the speed of light?
Honestly, not always. We've seen a couple of full screen sliders which just go slower than, you know, a snail. I'm trying to think of one map in particular. I think it was the Journey or something. One of the Dragon Force maps.
Can we talk about Grand Senpai here on his own map and how he's achieved 40% accuracy?
Well, clearly he was trying.
Yep, an attempt was made.
If only he was in Aristia's slot right there, we would have spelled out bad.
We just get Bab instead. A very defective sheep.
Well, we're going to be getting into the rolls very shortly.
Jordan the Bear rolling for a 66.
Is that the roll that's going to be taken, though?
It's the first roll. According to the referee, first roll will be taken, so 66 for Australia. It's above 50, you can't really complain at that. Korea have been known to take their time with almost everything that happens during an Osu match, so they may have a little bit of a wait here. $16 from Gomo, so no luck for South Korea. Australia will get that choice. Alright, South Korea ban up first then. As I predicted, I'm expecting Halloween of the Dead, or at least a double time map here banned from South Korea.
Right, I believe they get to choose who bans? I don't think they've been picked as the first ban, right?
You are correct. Yep, sorry, I misread that. I just read South Korea ban and we just put the 2 and 2 together.
It's understandable, babe. I know it's morning. But you
I
better wake
can't
up.
use
This is going to be a match.
I can't use
We already
morning.
had a good match.
It is morning, but I've been awake for at least 3 hours, so...
Alright. I mean, it does take me a long time to wake up sometimes, so you definitely can use the mornings.
Alright, I'm taking it.
Take it and run with it. That's all I can say.
Okay, looks like they will ban second, so we'll get Australia's ban first. This makes more sense now. My head's there, I'm with it. I'm on the same page. So we're thinking quinine?
Definitely thinking that the AR8 hidden is going to be banned, but there might be another map that they're opting to ban. It's hard to say. I definitely do think that quinine is going to be the option for them.
The only thing that it has for it is it's CS5, which makes it slightly odd. Okay, no, they're just going to ban it. I don't need to talk anymore. We're right. It was quinine. We got that one on the head.
South Korea did perform pretty well on the last one. So I think they're opting to remove, any form of strength from South Korea.
Yep.
Seeing as I'm expecting a lot of these maps to be very, very close.
Alright then, South Korea ban. What's your prediction? I've said mine a few times now, so...
Well, I think the safest alternative would probably be one of the double times. Halloween of the Dead is a possibility for sure.
Mm-hmm.
We may expect Kanade actually banned, but they could also go for something that they're just not feeling comfortable on, which might be a free mod as well. I think a model philosophy is not a bad alternative as a ban. I think a bunch of samples is something that both teams are just going to have to expect like a close match on, regardless. But I think a model philosophy is definitely one of those maps which teams might find, strengths or weaknesses on.
I know you mentioned that they might ban Canada, but I expect they might do what every other team has done and just ignore it. And just pretend it doesn't exist.
Every team just forgets it doesn't exist.
Oh, Korea's certainly taking their time on it, and it will be double time 3, in fact. Yasuno no Yomieri.
Not a bad option for them. Opting to ban speed against Australia. Obviously, very, very strong double time roster from their qualifier performance. So I think overall, these bans are very, very smart from both of these teams.
Yep, but I definitely expect then this entire double time pool to be exhausted during this match. And probably most of the no mod pool. And looks like Australia will take the second pick of the match. So the first team to start us off will be South Korea.
Now the real question is, where do they go? Because honestly, when I look at these two teams, on paper, I don't know where they go. Which team picks what? I mean, at the end of the day, you could pick anything, and I think these two teams are going to be fairly evenly matched. We can probably expect South Korea to avoid a double time pick, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think that one's a given.
On the other hand, On the other hand, I think everything else is pretty much an option. I can see Australia maybe opting to avoid Shinsekai, and maybe Vajra, but even then Vajra is definitely something that they would be capable of playing. Senkyo Rambu is probably going to be one of the maps which is sort of an in-betweener, I think, when it comes to these two teams. I know there's going to be a few players who can get good accuracy on it. There might be a few that struggle a little bit, so maybe that'll be an interesting act pick.
You know, as you mentioned during the warm-up, they have a lot of very good aim players. I wouldn't even be surprised if we see South Korea take no mod 1 this game. But we're going to start off with 13 Charlotte. This stream-focused map, 195 BPM. Very dense from start to finish. Alright, let's see how these teams want to start off, which players they throw in from that number 1. That's already a scary looking lineup for South Korea.
Yep, Karuna, Firebat coming in, Aristia, Flying Tuna. That is a terrifying lineup to face on streams. We're going to be seeing Shirha and Ugadi, two of which were expected. Raraku is also going to be coming in as well, very well-known stream player within Australia. And a Secret Box. Honestly, I haven't had much of an opportunity to see a Secret Box perform, but this is
on
definitely
paper,
going to be one of those opportunities. I mean, he's capable of playing pretty much anything in the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, on paper, number 1 Australia right now.
That is true.
But definitely on paper, a very strong performer. He's definitely, I think he's, did he full combo every map during round of 32? Am I pulling that out of thin air?
I remember him full comboing one of the maps that he was in for, but I'm not entirely sure.
I think he did very well in round of 32. Obviously, it was a 5-0, so quite a dominant team performance from Australia. Not a solo on his back kind of performance, but...
Not only that, but also on a slightly easier pool, so it's going to be interesting to see how these two teams do perform on a little bit harder pool. It's nothing over the top. I would say both these teams are definitely capable of it. Looks like we do have a bit of client lag, unless that was actually a miss.
That was 3 misses. Ugati, Secret Box, and Karuna all dropped early. Firebat's going to drop as well. Very, very early breaks there. And a massive accuracy drop for Secret Box.
I think it did look like a bit of client lag for some of them. Ugadi seems to be fine.
You are correct.
Karuna
yeah.
also fine. Secret Box was the only one to have a break early there. And Firebat also did find a miss on a jump.
This client will forever trick me into thinking people have missed when they haven't.
I mean, you're not the only one it's tricking everyone here. So far, slight advantage to Australia. We have some accuracy disadvantage on the Korean side with Flying Tuna at 94%, whereas every player on the Australian side 99, except for a Secret Box who had that little bit of a rough start.
Everyone looking good so far. Everyone's building up that combo. Any major act drops coming in here. Players unlikely to miss, but no one even drops that much accuracy either.
Going to be getting into one of the tougher aim sections. This is where we see a lot more stream aim required, and Ugadi is going to be one of the first to break for Australia after all the combos have built up. So far, South Korea running away with it. Firebat does find a break on the streams. He evens things out a bit, but I think they need another play to break on the South Korean side for Australia to make a comeback. It's going to be really, really close here. It's pretty much going to come down to any break in the last section. They're not looking to give up at all. Aristia, on the other hand, does actually find a break. This could be going back in favor of Australia right at the end.
It's going to swap over. Australia will take this back right at the end.
Aristia also finding chain misses and 100s at the end. Sends it right back to Australia. And they're going to be taking that one by about 75,000 points. Or 65,000 points.
South Korea's first pick does not go in their favor. 67,000 points on map number 1, the difference. I mean, we knew this match was going to be close, but to start off like that is just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing 2 full combos on both sides, near full combos as well from both Aristia and a Secret Box. Oogity and Firebat, on the other hand, did happen to miss in the midsection, but this is already looking to be an insane match. Very close start. So Australia take away South Korea's pick. What's it going to be for them? I'm honestly expecting Spring of Dreams to be the next alternative, but Australia might have some surprises for us.
Yeah, Shiro actually broke that 1 million score. Spinner bonus doing work there.
And Shiraha, obviously one of the players very well known for an insane spin of pretty much 460 consistently, if not more than that. I've seen it in real life before. I know what kind of desk shake it creates.
The whole building vibrates. I swear, right? You know, OSU gets talked about as being a genetics-based game sometimes, but I swear spinning is genetics. Some people just cannot spin, while other people just spin like it's nothing. I don't understand.
It's definitely all about technique, but at the same time, you also have to have a lot of power behind it.
I'll never understand. I think I spin on average like 330. It's so slow. Looks like Australia having a think about this. Maybe didn't expect to take the first map. They're just kind of in a bit of shock right now. Well, here it is, as you mentioned, Spring of Dreams, the first double time map picked up here from Australia. Definitely their comfort zone, but South Korea not exactly lacking in terms of double time players.
This is definitely one where I'd expect it to be close once again. I mean, as much as they banned a double time pick, it's just one of the safer alternatives to ban against Australia. We're already seeing close maps, so I think it's probably going to be a similar theme throughout this entire match. It's going to be a case of, you know, a couple players dropping right at the end, or maybe one or two players dropping in the middle, but overall I think both teams should be pretty comfortable on this.
No surprise to see Monkey Atsu come in for this for Australia. Definitely a double time preferred player. Plays a lot of 3-mod double time, in fact.
Yeah, and he's definitely one that's into a lot of the finger control heavy DT, which is something that this is a little bit more focused around. It's not over the top in terms of finger control, but it is present within this map. I do know for a fact that he wasn't too keen on playing a lot of these maps from the pool in general. It seems like he was having a bit of a rough time. But interesting to see him come in for this one. Maybe he's been practicing really hard.
Yeah, so we're going to see Ponytail as well.
Yeah, Ponytail Korea. Exciting stuff.
Just the one trade from both teams, and we are underway now with map number 2, Spring of Dreams. Bang on AR-10.
And with the amount of finger control required on this BPM, it's definitely going to be one that's a bit more focused around stamina. You may actually see some players run out of stamina, or perhaps have a bit of an accuracy drop due to the fact that stamina is just so present within this map. Early miss coming in from Monkey Atsu though. Not a good start, but it is again a situation where he will be breaking the nerves.
Yeah, and I don't expect that'll be the last miss we see for a map like this. Yeah, there we go. Firebat will match it. So now one break apiece in the early days of this one.
I mean, we all know how dominant Firebat can be on pretty much any kind of map, but it's hard to say. This performance from him hasn't been very good at the moment. He's been finding a lot of misses. It's like, gotta wonder if it's a case of him being somewhat inactive for the year, coming back to Oz.
Finds another one as well, so it's going to be an early advantage to Australia now. Already reaching that halfway mark. It's a very short map. Here comes that finger control, as you mentioned. Oh, but a break from Yugiti and Secret Box. But it's only Firebat who misses. That's going to be big, and yeah, that point goes straight over to South Korea. Shiroa, the only full combo left for the Aussies. Oh, there's 3 for South Korea. Already into that final quarter.
Yeah, South Korea showing dominance on this double time pick. It's actually quite a surprise to see them having banned the 3rd double time. The only player to have missed so far is Firebat. Shiraha finds a break as well. So it's pretty much all on Monk Yatso. 1 against 3. And it's not even a full combo either.
Yeah, this has really not worked out for Australia. Well, South Korea looks so strong. Aristia will break just before the end, but Karuna and Ponytail will hold their combos. And they'll be just shy of that 4 million point mark. So 2 stolen picks.
Yeah, both teams taking each other's pick, and South Korea showing dominance on double time.
It does feel like a bit of an underperformance from the Australians, though, especially on a map like this.
Yeah, you're seeing a lot of high accuracies on their side. Just a few 1 misses across the board, though. 3 players with 99.
That combo does a lot in terms of score, unfortunately, for a rhythm game. But that's how it is. It's how it's always been.
Karuna also having a very, very solid performance on that map. Probably one of the few players who have really stepped up in the past year or so in community tournaments and just in general. I mean, we're seeing the performance already.
And it says that it was his personal best act on the map as well. There's nothing like performing your best during the tournament match. I do find, personally, that when you play tournaments and you have that little bit of adrenaline from the match, that I actually personally perform better on these finger control speedy picks. Things just feel a bit warmer and looser. For some people it might be that, for some people it might be the complete opposite and they just break down, but...
I definitely do hear about players always talking about a speed buff in the middle of a tournament match, so you're definitely correct about that one. I mean, some people will go through all sorts of different emotional and physical changes when they're playing in a tournament match. It's so interesting to see what adrenaline and nerves can do to a person. You know, some people like break down and shut down and can't play at all. Other people just, you know, they excel. They use that adrenaline as like as some sort of fuel for, you know, the fire that they need to get the scores that they get in the match.
All right then, South Korea pick, and they pick Sankyo Rambu. We're slowing down an awful lot. We're down to 135 BPM, and it's all about finger control and aim.
Now this one I think is honestly going to be a pretty smart pick from South Korea, assuming that they can play it very well. I think that the Australians are going to have a little bit of trouble with accuracy. I think if Ugadi is in for this map, he should be perfectly fine, but Australia, not the greatest when it comes to low BPM finger control. On the other hand, we obviously did see they performed really well in terms of accuracy on high BPM finger control, but might even see some players opt for single tap in this. I mean, we see Jordan the Bear coming in for this map, Shirahar as well.
And DDM
a lot of
South
players.
Korea.
A lot of players that are capable of single tapping a map like this. You did mention it's fairly low, but on that sense as well, it's also very easy to single tap if it's fairly low.
Yeah, I'm not sure I've seen anyone actually single tap this yet. But we will see. There's definitely the chance. So we'll see Secret Box come back in. We just saw 3 players from Australia leave the lobby as soon as this was selected, which is quite interesting. 2 of them have come back in though. Might be a sign of unconfidence, being like, I don't want to play this, I can't play this. Get me out, I don't want to be in the lobby. But they're forced back in.
Yeah, I think this is definitely going to be a map which is very focused around accuracy and obviously combo as well. Combo is going to play a big role in this. If South Korea do happen to find some breaks, I think that's going to be the big difference maker in this map. We are seeing that Jordan the Bear is going for a full single tap strat.
I love it.
Kind of hybrid alternating.
DDM single tap as well. You've got to respect the full single tap on this, but an early break from a secret box. We do see players drop accuracy, and when they do, they drop combo, and secret box falling victim of that early on.
Ponytail does find a break as well, so 2 players have dropped, 1 on each side. Superbox finding another break right before the slow section. Ponytail also responding with another one, so both players once again trading misses, getting into a slower section. The accuracy advantage is in favor of South Korea, but only ever so slightly. A lot of players on similar accuracy. Seeing Jordan single tap through all of those singles, so rough.
That's actually so intensive on single tap stamina as well. These aren't like short single tap patterns. We're talking like 10, 15 notes sometimes. Still 3 plays 3 though. Like Jordan might have missed a few slider ends. It's a tiny advantage right now for Australia with Secret Box's combo beating Ponytails by like 15. Still neck and neck at the halfway mark.
The score gap is so small at the moment. Any break at this point is going to just change the fate of this match.
Even any kind of big accuracy drops will change it completely as well. We see Aricia get quite a few 100s during that section.
Yeah, a few 100s on both sides dropping. We're actually seeing Jordan the Bear with the highest accuracy on the Australian side, who is the single tapper. DDM on the South Korean side with 99. Getting into a harder section, we might see some breaks here.
Yeah, Tuna has 99% as well. It's going to come down to these breaks, and it will be Ponytail from the Korean side that will drop first. And then Tuna and Scrown Senpai. There's 3 breaks now, but it's advantage Australia.
Both teams are trading combos. It's so close, but it's going back in favor of Australia. Still, any break here. We did see it yesterday with United States versus France. A break here could change this. It's definitely possible. Australia do have quite a lead now, though.
100,000.
They're not giving up. Secret Box does find a break. It evens things out, but once again, we did see the 2 combo resets. It's 2 full combos against each other. Grand Senpai is also matching Ponytail and Flying Tuna. I don't think there's going to be enough time, but maybe. DDM finds a break at the end there. This is going to be going to Australia. That full combo from DDM dropping right at the end. It was almost going to go back in South Korea's favor, but there was just not enough time.
It was almost so close, but right at the end, the South Koreans drop it, and MVP Jordan the Bear, single tap extraordinaire.
Big shout out to Jordan the Bear for single tapping that map and getting the highest accuracy on the Australian side.
That's a JTB Freaks moment.
That is a JTB Freaks moment. Can definitely imagine the Australians just shouting up the libs in voice chat at this point.
Yeah, I bet the atmosphere is good in that voice call right now. Once again, though, a pick has been lost. That's 3 in a row now. Nobody seems to know what to play.
I mean, first we saw South Korea be like, "Here you go, Australia, take ours," and then now Australia was like, "Yep, all right, you guys can have our pick if you want." And now, once again, we're seeing the same thing happen. Is it going to happen again though?
So much
Australia gets to pick. Are we going to see South Korea take this one away from them?
I mean, Halloween of the Dead has to be looking a little bit less confident right now after losing Spring of Dreams so heavily. But I don't even know if that win on Senkyo Rambo is enough to be like, all right, let's go for some finger control-y stuff. I don't see them looking at that victory as being like,
that victory Again, another map which was very, very, very close.
I think they're going to have a good think about this. Could even see Azure maybe?
Vajra is a possibility, but I think it's one that they're probably going to be avoiding for the time being. I think that might be one of their late picks. I think Fremod might be a safe option for them. I can see them definitely going for a bunch of samples.
Yeah, that could potentially be a good shout.
At the end of the day, I think any pick that either of these two teams go for, it's going to be close between them. It's going to come down to, one player having a slightly bad run, but they are going to be going for Vajra, as you mentioned.
All right. I think we both thought they'd pick this at some point. Looks like they're going to pick for it now.
Yeah, I was expecting this to be one of the later picks for sure, but here it comes. CS 6.5.
I wonder if they were thinking, all right, we pick Halloween of the Dead next. After we win DT1, we then just win DT2. But because they lost DT1, maybe they've changed it up and thought, let's come back to DT a bit later.
Definitely could be the option. It's hard to say though, because Halloween of the Dead definitely does feel like a different map. It's a lot more focused around aim and patterns. Obviously there's still some basic burst element to it, and 10.3 offsets that map from the rest of the double time pool, I believe. It's hard to say that going for a 10.3 pick like that would be the same as picking Spring of Dreams or the other double time 3.
Alright, see Yugiti and Rairuku come back in for Australia here.
Yeah, Ugity is definitely someone who is very, very strong on a map like this. He is really, really good when it comes to accuracy on Hard Rock, especially, just in general. But Rairuku is a little bit of a surprise to me. I'm not quite sure how he performs on precision-based maps. He's a lot more focused around stream and just, Hard Rock maps. I would say like consistency-focused Hard Rock maps. And I must admit, I'm quite surprised to see that Jordan the Bear isn't in for this one as well, seeing as he can definitely full combo this map, but his accuracy is going to be something that I think would tank ever so slightly, so maybe having Grand Senpai in for this one might be the better alternative, assuming that he can get the full combo.
Looks like Zaysen going to be making his first match appearance then for the South Koreans. See if it has a repeat of the New Zealand player dropping in for the CS 6.5, or maybe this will be a more favourable one. See some wonderful accuracies off the start from Grand Senpai and Zaysen.
Yeah, another thing that's expected when you have a slow intro on Hard Rock like this. Seeing both Zaysen and Grand Senpai drop their accuracies ever so slightly, but plenty of opportunity for them to pick that back up. Shirahar finding the first miss on that spacing change. But it's still early days.
Yeah, I'm sure that miss just comes down to early adjustments, but the map isn't too long, you've got to adjust quickly. And so far, all other 7 have done well. Into the 1/3 section. South Korea have that lead on an Australian pick once again. Still can all change.
We're going to see them trade picks once again. The 1/3 section is where we're most likely going to expect some misses in this halfway point. Shirahar Grand Senpai dropping combos on that spacing change once again. So far, all players getting through the first stream into the slider. Almost a break from Zaysen there to see a couple 100s and a short miss. Rairuku does find a break. Ugity is the only player holding on as well. It's looking like this is going to go well in favor of South Korea.
Rairuku was a client lag, so he is still in it. But that score lead is just growing so fast for Korea right now. And we're already into the final quarter with 4 full combos still there for the Koreans.
Once again, another situation where we see picks just being traded back and forth. But South Korea are just looking so strong on this map. Aristia and DDM finding breaks right at the end. A few players from the Australian side still holding on. Rairuku finds a break at the end. Aristia breaks as well, but it's going to be going well in favor of South Korea, holding on to a lot of high combos and full combos right at the end there.
Yeah, Yugiti did his best. He doesn't get that perfect full combo, but Zaysen dropping in for the CS 6.5 does the work, and Tuna breaks that 1,000,000 point score.
Yeah,
And
Flying
it's
Tuna
back
going to
to
be the
2-2.
MVP with 97% full combo on that map. Oogity almost managing to get a 97% full combo as well for the Australian side. And Zayson doing very well.
It's still too close, man. It's 2-2 again. And neither team has won their own pick yet. Which is just crazy. You would have thought that these teams would have one map at least. They'd be like, all right, this is a guaranteed point for us. But they just can't seem to do it.
Yeah, I mean, we were expecting a very, very close match. We obviously saw how close Finland and New Zealand were, being pretty much the same team that these two teams knocked into the losers bracket. And now we're seeing the two teams who knocked them into the losers bracket face off, and yet again another close match is ahead of us. The question is, where do South Korea go with this next pick? Because we're starting to run out of options.
It doesn't seem to matter, because whatever they pick, they'll lose, right? So we should really be thinking into the mind of Australia. What would Australia pick now?
What would Australia want?
I mean, maybe Korea pick Halloween of the Dead. You never know. For real though, Korea, maybe Kadama? Something a bit more aim-focused is potentially going to be in the favor of South Korea. They did play very well on Nomad during the qualifiers, so Kadama or potentially Humanoid.
Could even maybe see Shinsekai as well, seeing as Australia opted for the hidden ban, but Shinsekai is definitely a different map from Queen Nine, so it's hard to say whether or not South Korea want to play to a strength like that. It depends on how they perform on the map. They might not be too comfortable, so maybe they're avoiding it. Are we going to see Kanade being picked though? We did see South Korea do really well on Hard Rock just then, so they might want to bounce back with another one. Or we could also see them dive into the free mod pool.
Oh, it will be Kadama.
Damn, you are spot on with picks at the moment there.
You know, I kind of feel like sometimes I have no idea what I'm talking about, but maybe there's something in there.
Maybe there's something going on in that mind. It's not just all creeks, water drops.
There's definitely a lot of wind blowing, that's for sure. Tumbleweed.
The good old tumbleweed. Yeah, getting into Kadama, this is going to be an interesting one because it is, again, a generic tech pick, which is focused on a lot of aim and sliders. Definitely one of those maps which could be very close between these two teams. May come down to an accuracy battle, but I think we will most likely see some breaks just before the break itself, or maybe we'll see them after. In the first or the second half is definitely where it's going to be present. We saw from the Finland and New Zealand match that breaks do happen all over that map, but it's definitely going to be very important for these teams to combo as much as they can up to the first break, because you do get a bit of a slow section where you can get a slight combo advantage.
Australia seem to like cycling a lot of their players in and out in between maps. I wouldn't normally mention it, but a lot of people would tend to sub for the players that they're going to be swapping, but Australia just seems to pull everyone out of the lobby and then kind of fill from the base. Looks like it's going to be Secret Box, Jordan the Bear, Ugati, and Shiroha taking on DDM, Aristia, Karuna, and Flying Tuna. And it's going to be an honest 3 versus 3. Nah, I'm joking. We'll just get them connected real quick. There we go.
Just hearing you say all those names, Aristia, Karuna, Flying Tuna.
It's terrifying.
So it's just a lot of A's at the end of that.
It's true. Just swap DDM and Shiroha and you got a full team of names that end in an A. Alright, nice slow start for players to drop their accuracy on. This map will quickly build up. It's professional box, it's slider spam. Lots of techie jump patterns.
Jordan the Bear and the Aristia are going to be the first two players to find misses, so the trading on each side keeps things pretty even. Accuracy in favor of South Korea, but DDM finding a break there is going to make that sway ever so slightly back in the favor of Australia.
Are you surprised? I'm not surprised that Australia are winning a South Korea pick.
Definitely not surprised, seeing as that's been the trend of this match so far. Arisia finds yet another break. Jordan the Bear being the only player to have missed for Australia. They need to hold on to as many combos as they can until the slow part. It's going to be the important thing to have happen on this map. But breaks in the second half are possible. We could see some sort of upset.
Approaching the end of the first drop section here. Still 5 players going strong, but it's 3 for Australia. It gives them that advantage. Or Secret Box will find a miss.
DDM and Aristia have both made a swift recovery. A Secret Box finding a couple of chain misses. It's not good right before the slow section, but it does even things out a little bit.
And misses on the curve stream as well, but still 2 versus 2. Accuracy right now for Shira and Tuna neck and neck at 99.6. Really good stuff from these two so far. This is really neck and neck because Secret Box, while having more score and giving Australia the lead, breaks before the halfway mark. Possibly the worst time to miss for combo. If DDM and Aristia manage to hold on for the rest of the map now, it should lean back to South Korea.
Yeah, I mean, technically they do have a slight combo advantage, as much as Jordan the Bear is about, I would say, 60 combo ahead of DDM. They do have that advantage across all of their players. If all of them do manage to hold on through this second half, we could see South Korea bring this one back. The lead isn't much for Australia at the moment, and it's actually getting smaller and smaller as we speak. A Secret Box and Flying Tuna. That's a big break for South Korea, though. Oh, a Secret Box was actually client lag. But Flying Tuna did actually happen to have a break. DDM also finding another miss.
That's massive for Australia. They still have the 2-4 combos with Shirahara and Ugati, and it's only Karuna now for the South Koreans. Australia going to be pulling ahead rapidly right now.
Oh, and DDM was
wrapping up.
Oh, DDM was another client lag situation, but Shirahara does find a break on that space stream. Although I think Australia have enough of a lead to take this one away. Ugati is going mental at the moment, as well as Karuna. They're both matching each other, along with Jordan the Bear matching DDM. Secret Box has managed to hold on to enough of a combo so that Aristia's is kind of negated. Karuna does find a break at the end there as well. Ugati does secure the full combo, and Australia will be taking that one. Again, another situation where South Korea pick a map and Australia take it away. What is going on in this match?
This is getting silly now. Can someone just win their own pick?
We'd like to see the team show some confidence, but I mean, this just shows you how close these two teams are. I mean, they're picking something that they think is their strength, and then another team manages to beat them on it. So I think at the end of the day, regardless of what these two teams pick, it's going to be back and forth, you know? This just shows how close this match is between these two teams.
And it's also the third map that we're going to see that is around 100k score difference between both teams, which in a 4-man team is pretty close. Honestly, 100k is not a big win. 5 break points, my god. It's almost no point talking about what Australia's going to pick because they're going to get it wrong. It's just straight up going to be a wrong pick.
So which map is it going to be that South Korea wins this time?
South Korea won. I have no idea. Everything is a coin flip, it feels. I still want to see them play Halloween of the Dead. At some point, I'm sure this map will be played. If not now, maybe next time. Australia picks. Australia still have 2 picks, I believe. Unless, of course, they win this and the next map. Okay, here we go. Halloween of the Dead. Before the match, I was like, this is a guaranteed Australia point, sorry. But now I actually have no idea. I just don't know.
I mean, they're picking it when it's probably not going to be a guaranteed Australia point, but who knows, honestly. This could be record-breaking. You know, we've obviously had 5 breakpoints in a row. We're going to see the 6th. South Korea going to take this one away from Australia. They've done it on the first double time. Is it going to happen on the second one?
Yeah, big difference being that approach rate 10.3 adds that extra reading difficulty. But neither team is shy of high AR reading players. Firebat and Tuna, well known for their double time scores. Definitely expected to see Monk Yatsu step in for this one.
I've heard him talk about there's a certain part, it's like a slow section somewhere in the middle with the 1, 2, 3 jumps. I think that's going to be really scary for a lot of players because a lot of them have been saying, you know, oh, we haven't broken on that in the match, like in practice, but it's going to happen in the match. Mm-hmm. You know, it is a mind blockable pattern, I would say, if you practice the map enough and then develop a mind block. But yeah, misses on that 1, 2, 3 section, definitely something that is possible. As much as it seems like one of the easier parts in the map.
See Ponytail join in at the last second as well. DDM going to be swapping out. It's crazy to think that DDM is like 1.7k rank. The guy is so good, but I mean, sandbagging is a thing.
And it just shows you that rank really doesn't matter. I mean, there's some players in the 4-digit range who are capable of some insane stuff, and obviously, unfortunately, the PP system doesn't really display that. Shout out to a lot of the underrated players who get all sorts of underrated plays which just aren't seen because the PP system does not recognize that. DDM being one of them.
Gonna see Tuna drop out actually for Zaysen. Interesting substitution, but definitely a map that could be kind of like I can't play this. I think that 1, 2, 3 session you mentioned, we actually saw Cobra drop in the Italian match and it cost Italy a point, so definitely a section to watch out for.
Yeah, without a doubt. Zaysen going to be the first one to break on the early 1, 2, 3 section. Definitely enough time to bring it back. Score is only ever so slightly in favour of Australia at the moment.
Yeah, by now the players seem to have settled into the 10.3 quite well. Accuracy across the board is pretty good. These players not having any issues with the reading. Tiny score lead right now for Australia. So neck and neck. Oh, accuracy will take it back now. South Korea will pull ahead of the break. Like Jordan the Bear drop down to 96. This is going to come down to who breaks first.
Or maybe it's not going to come down to who breaks at all. Maybe South Korea is just going to take this one with everything being as it is. You know, we've already seen the breakpoints. But Zaysen is going to be the first one to find a miss to the South Korean side, and it's going to go back in favor of Australia.
And
Ponytail also drops.
It's those 1-3s, 1-2-3s. It's
Ryriku is going to be the one to miss on the slow 1, 2, 3 section.
But that's fine, because Ponytail drops as well. So South Korea now only have 2 full combos against the Australian 3. Will we see a team with their own pick? And it's a big one for Australia. This will give them match point. Jordan the Bear, Shoroho, and Monk Yatsu doing work right now for Australia. But it's almost over. They just got to hold on a bit longer. Into the final chorus will go. And I think by this point they've done enough here. And definitely without a Aristia miss. That would do it. Australia will finally take their own point for the first time in this match.
Gyatso did actually find a break right at the end, but it's going to be going to Australia. They take that one with 2 full combos and pretty much a near full combo to Firebat with 99.47 FC. That is impressive stuff. Definitely a step up in performance from how it started out for him. But we're going to be seeing Australia take their own pick. It's going to be the first one of the match. First instance where a team has picked something and won their own pick.
It's now match point to Australia. This is the time that South Korea has to pick something that they can win. If they're not out, obviously this is a winner's bracket match. If South Korea did go down here, or whoever ends up going down here, will only be knocked down to the loser's bracket. But I'll tell you something now, this is a scary team to have in the loser's bracket. I don't think as a loser bracket team I want to face either Australia or South Korea.
I mean, if you're sitting there and you have to face this team next week, you're just gonna be sweating. That's all I can say right now. After seeing how these two teams are performing right now, you're not going to be in a comfortable situation at all.
On the pickings, just quickly, actually, South Korea, the team predicted to win. 64% of you guys thought that South Korea would take this match. Another underdog? If you can even call Australia an underdog. It's almost ridiculous to say those words. Okay, now we're going to see it.
We're actually seeing Kanade being picked. Is this the first time? It's not the first time. Surely
no,
it's
it's
not
the
the first time.
third time this round.
Third time this round.
But it feels like never.
Feels like forever.
Alright, what does this map entail, Kano? Give us a quick rundown.
Aim. Lots and lots of aim. And some stream.
And don't forget
this is a... Oh yeah, true, the small circles. Oh, and the accuracy requirement as well. It is harder after all. Yeah, definitely one of the more consistency focused picks. It does have some pretty tricky streams and a lot of aim requirement on both the jumps and the stream patterns.
Yeah, just looking at how these teams performed in Hard Rock qualifiers, advantage Australia. Australia coming 4th on Hard Rock, while South Korea 11th. But pool difficulty from qualifier to this is relatively similar.
I must admit, I'm quite surprised that they're going for the Hard Rock, because this is probably one of the closer matchups between these two teams, but maybe they've practiced it a lot, maybe they're feeling very comfortable on it. It's definitely a map that they can take away from Australia, but it's one of the maps which I would expect to be a lot closer between these two teams, for sure. Surprisingly, no Fremont has been picked so far in this match. Fireback going to be one to find an early miss. It's within the first 100 combo, so it shouldn't be too bad.
What might be bad is the accuracy drop he gets from it, 94%, but Ariku's at 95, so it's being a little bit offset. As you mentioned, that OD 10, I believe this will be with the Hard Rock. It's actually quite a large factor in terms of score multiplier with the accuracy, being 30% of total score. Some of these jump patterns on Hard Rock are pretty nasty. Everyone's coping with them quite well. What circle size is this? Because it's 4.3 before Hard Rock.
I think it's around 5.5. I'll have to double check. It is 5.59.
Yeah, definitely smaller than your standard Hard Rock pick, that's for sure.
Yeah, a bit of precision involved in these jumps in particular. Firebat finds another miss. Not looking good for the South Korean side, as it's 4 full combos against 3 as we get into a little bit of a slow section, but things will ramp up very quickly once again.
Halfway point too. Australia right now ahead 130k, but there are still 3 full combos for South Korea. It's a good number. 2 breaks from Australia, this match turns around instantly. They look so good right now.
Shiraha going to be the first one to find a break for the Australian side. Is it going to be enough to set them back? They're going to have to see another break in order for South Korea to make a comeback. I think Shiraha's done enough. Oh, Ugadi does actually find a break as well, so It could go back in their favor. Firebat does happen to chain miss once again, but it is 3 full combos against 2.
Oh, Tuna drop!
Tuna responds.
That might be it. There's not enough time left now. Even if Jordan the Bear and Rairiku were to drop, the Australians are going to beat South Korea 5-2. A scoreline that I predicted. Thank you, Pickens. But definitely not one that was probably expected by most. On paper, this should have been a lot closer. But Australia are going to do it and proceed into the quarterfinals of the winners bracket, knocking South Korea down.
I mean, as much as you say you were expecting this one to be a lot closer, a lot of those maps were very close. I would honestly say that this match overall was close despite the score difference, maybe not saying that. Like 5-2, they still had a lot of very, very close maps. But again, 2 insanely dominant teams facing off against each other this early. Anyone that has to face South Korea in the losers bracket has to be sweating right now because they are a force to be reckoned with. They've already shown it here. But once again, congratulations to Australia for taking that one away. They'll be progressing to face United States in quarterfinals.
It's a bit of a bitter victory, that really, isn't it? Facing the US in the quarterfinals, who is arguably the favourites to go on and win the World Cup this year. But this Australia team looking really good right now. I'm really excited to see how they bring it to the US in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, very solid performances overall from both of those teams. We saw some crazy stuff once again.
So South Korea will drop down. They will face the winner of the match between Spain and Japan, which again is the match happening a little bit later on today. Here we go. Here's our bracket. There you go. Top of the quarterfinals, Australia versus the United States of America.
What are your thoughts on that match, Bay? I know as much as the United States are one of the teams which is probably more favored towards winning the World Cup this year. They have such strong players, especially on late game pools. I think with how the scaling of this year's OWC is going to go, I would expect that a lot of teams are going to need to be practicing a lot of high star rating consistency.
Is this a little bit of Matt Pauler insight you're dropping here, Kano?
Definitely a little bit of Matt Pauler insight. I would say that this year is probably going to be, I would say, maybe a full step up from last year's Grand Finals pool.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, yeah, I mean, I'm really curious to see how the US... I mean, they haven't had vv513127718 play yet, who is arguably their best player right now in terms of tournament scene. He's just been playing out of his mind. He hasn't shown up yet. Will he make an appearance for Australia? Are they the team to step up and be like, actually, I kind of need to be here? I think so. I reckon we'll see vv513127718, and I reckon Australia will surprise many people. They definitely won't be clean swept, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, if they do have, they definitely do have the capability to beat the United States, but whether or not it's going to happen is a different story. I mean, being a team that knocks the United States down into the losers bracket this early would be quite a remarkable, I can't even think of the word. It's just such a rare sight for that kind of thing to happen. We've seen the United States be so dominant in these previous World Cups.
I think it just speaks to the level of this World Cup. Almost every team has stepped up from last year. I'm super excited to see the following weekends. All right,
we're going to get better from this point onwards. But yeah, that will conclude today's matches for at least the next hour, I believe. I think the next one's on in an hour's time.
About 52 minutes exactly. Not that I'm counting.
Not that you're counting.
Yeah, and that'll be the match between my home country, the United Kingdom, and Hong Kong. Another winners bracket match.
And another scary match ahead.
All right, well, that's it from us. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Kano, it's been a pleasure, as always.
As always, Bay. Thank you again, and we will see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys.